Hi, stationery friends. Welcome to Ginger Peachy Pens. I just wanted to give you a quick follow-up video on my new ink pen and ink tracking system. My last video, I showed you how I turned this A6 Hobonichi cover into a binder. And the binder on the inside looks something like this. Sorry, there was a sticker stuck to it. Something like this, and it is slipped inside of the A6 cover. So quickly, I just want to show you how this kind of came together in the end, because I left it a little messy. And yeah, just let you know how it's working for me. It's just been a couple of days, but I finally got it finished setting. I have finally finished setting it up, and I think I'm going to be really happy with it. So really quickly, let's get into it. This is just an A6 Hobonichi cover. This is the Dashinka one. I love this one from 2019, maybe. I usually do have a clear cover on cover over it to protect it, but I took it off for the sake of the glare in this video. This Schaefer ballpoint pen lives with this notebook. I like to use this. I'll show you how I like to use this. So open it up, you can see I have my binder in here. I did end up taking it out, and because at the end of the last video you could see that it was popping open like this. I did take it out and like crease it really tightly, right as close to the binder as I could, and that was enough to make it stay closed with the cover on it. So it's now not like flying open every time I move it. So I took all my paper. This is actually A6 size here. You can see how much wider this is. So I ended up taking off about a half an inch. And if you saw how I left this at the end of the last video, the inside is what was really messy because I had tried to cut the paper with a whatever this is called, a rotary cutter, and it was really messy. So I took it to work, and at work I have one of those big guillotine choppers with the clamp that holds their paper and then it cuts it all at once. So I was able to cut these and make them all exactly the same length, and I cut off and I cut off the inside. So I cut off the holes that I previously punched, which means I had to punch holes over again, but at least the pages are all straight. So now when I close this, you can see that they fit in here nicely. There's room for my pen to slip in. Nothing is straining anywhere. Yeah, so this is A6 width paper minus about a half an inch. So, or like a centimeter and a half that I took off. Yeah, so here it is. I took a piece of paper just from a random notebook with lines and cut it down to this size. Left a little header space at the top and punched holes, and I trimmed. I cut slits in the holes so that I can pop this in and out. And so I used this to put behind a page, and put my title, the name of my pen. I use this ballpoint pen. The reason I like to use a ballpoint pen is because, one, it keeps it consistent throughout, and I did do this in my older notebook. This one, I use the same ballpoint pen for the title, for the header on every page. So I just kept that, even though it probably would look better with like a bold black felt tip marker or something. This is just easy, and I like this pen. I like it. I don't know. So I put my name at the top of my pen, and it works for me to fit the brand and the model on the top line in most cases. Sometimes it's a little bit squished, but then underneath I put the color and the nib size. And then I put the date. I like to have the date for when I inked something. In my older notebook, I showed you I always put the date when I cleaned the pen, but I don't know how helpful that is, because a lot of times I would stop using a pen and put it in a drawer or a cup to be cleaned, and it might sit there for a month or so before I actually clean the pen. So this doesn't really reflect like how long the ink lasted in the pen. And you also know that I don't fill my pens up to capacity most of the time. So, I just don't think that the cleaning date necessarily matters. But what I have done is left space underneath the date here where if I want to, I can write in the date that I either stopped using a pen or that I cleaned it if I decide I want to. Um, but I also do that in my fountain pen companion. Usually I go in there and archive a pen and ink as soon as it dries up or within a day or two after an ink dries up. So that's a little more accurate is the fountain pen companion. So anyway, I went through today and put all of my currently inked pens in here. It's about 30, so I had a good little number, and I used my fountain pen companion to put them in order, so I didn't actually have to organize them because it already has the pens in alphabetical order in fountain pen companion. So I didn't actually have to take the pages out and put them in alphabetical order. But now, whenever I ink a pen, I'll do a new page if it's a new pen that I haven't put in here before, and I'll move it to be in alphabetical order by brand name and then by model name and then by color name. So I think this is going to work really well. I will also be able to archive either in the back or in, an envelope somewhere, any pens that I sell or give away, anything like that. So, and if I re-ink a pen over and over and over and over and fill this page up, I can add another page. That was coming up with my Monte Grappa Elmo marshmallow. This page was filling up, and of course I was going to go on to the back, but I expected that at some point I would run out of room here, and then what was I going to be able to do with this notebook? So anyway, this worked really well for me for a good while, but I am really glad not to be using this crazy index at the beginning that is not alphabetical or anything. It's just in order of inking up the pens or receiving the pens, sort of. This will be more functional, easier to take things in and out. I'm really excited to use it. The pages turn really well. This paper, I told you before, is the old Tomoe River paper. I had a pack of it. Like, I actually have a big pack of A4 paper, and I had cut it down to A5. And so it was in an A5 notebook. That's why there's holes here. And so instead of wasting that, I cut those in half. And then, of course, like I said, I trimmed off another 1/2 inch. So that's why there's these holes at the bottom, but those don't bother me at all. I'm glad to not be wasting this paper. The only downside, potentially, to using old Tomoe River paper is that anything newer that I get is not going to be old Tomoe River paper. It'll be the Tomoe River paper. But that doesn't really bother me because it's your pens and inks are going to work different on every paper that you use. So this is not for me to see like how is this pen going to work on every sheet of paper that I use. This is for me to keep track of what inks have been in these pens, and I may go back and give it a rating, an A+, an A-, or in this other notebook I did a few times write things like this was not a good match, or I really loved this combination. So I may do that. I'm really glad that I thought about making a sheet with lines so that it can help me have straight lines. Yeah, I think I'm really good. See, I would write little notes. So I may still do that. I can still write little notes. I am not worried about perfection. The first couple of pens that I wrote down, my handwriting wasn't perfect. And I was sort of like this. I started to write in lowercase and I went, oh no. But you know what? This is to be functional, not perfect. And so I am not going to worry about it. I'm not going to waste paper redoing it. Just going to let it be. So I'm really excited about this system. Again, these rings are A7 if you're just watching this video. I bought these rings on Amazon. They're linked in my other video. And yeah, I'll hope you'll go back and watch that one if you haven't seen it already. But this is my new system and I'm very excited for it. So I hope you enjoyed this video. Thank you for checking back in on it to see how it's going. If you have any questions, please feel free to leave them below. The one thing that I thought about um, after filming and uploading that other video is, why didn't I shop for an A7 binder that had like a thin plastic cover that I could trim down and just slip in here? I don't know. I was already in the track, the mind, uh, with the train track, whatever. What am I trying to say? The train of thought, maybe? I was already in the train of thought of looking for loose binder rings, and so that's just what I did. And I'm actually really happy with it. I don't need anything fancy, so but this does feel pretty fancy to me actually. I'm really happy with it. So anyway, thank you so much, and I will see you on Friday with my regular upload. Bye.